So happy Mother's Day, everybody. In honor of Mother's Day, I wanted to share a story about my mom. A few of you knew my mother, and I think you'll appreciate this story. But I hope that all of you will appreciate this, and happy Mother's Day. My mother was raised by a single mom in southern Colorado during the Great Depression, and they were extremely poor. And like a lot of people from my mom's generation, she had this ability to take whatever was available and make things that were high quality and very, very useful, particularly when it came to food. My mom could take whatever ingredients were at hand based on a rather small grocery budget, add creativity and flexibility and a generous helping of love, and she could make a mundane Monday night supper absolutely marvelous. And she did this while having to feed my father. My dad was anti-vegetable, and that meant that she was kind of limited to cooking potatoes, tomatoes, sweet corn, salad, and sometimes peas. And then I'm one of 5 siblings, and we are fairly far spread apart, so she was always dealing with different tastes and appetites. Yet everybody in my family appreciated my mom's food, and we knew that she was an amazing cook. We all had our favorites. I loved Sunday after church roast beef. My mom would put it into slow roast right after she made pancakes for breakfast, and then we would eat it. It came with buttery mashed potatoes and was always served with both gravy and dinner rolls that were made from scratch. My mom had a recipe for magical pinto beans, and those beans were in every possible way magical fruit. I got my mom's cooking gene to some extent, and I've spent 30 years trying to recreate that bean recipe because I never thought to ask for it, and I'm not even close yet. Then there was my mom's spaghetti sauce. She would throw hamburger into this ancient giant frying pan with some spices. She'd brown it, and she would start pouring in different types of tomatoes and more spices. And then she would just let it simmer until the whole house smelled like deliciousness. And that spaghetti was served with garlic bread, which, unless there was company coming, was Wonder Bread that had had margarine and garlic powder toasted into it, and a green salad. During the summertime, the green salad had things from our garden in it, and during the winter, it had things that had been in our garden the last summer that my mom had canned. I graduated high school, and I went off to college, and I ended up in California, and my parents were in South Dakota, so I didn't get to see them very often. And my mom loved it when her kids came to visit. And because a lot of her love language was around food and taking care of us, she would always ask the same question: what would you like me to make? And so on one of my very last visits home, I got asked that question. I was like, well, roast beef's always good, and I love your pinto beans, and I really miss your spaghetti. Any one of those things would be great. And she's like, no problem, I can fix all 3 of those. The roast beef was delicious, and the gravy was still made from scratch, and the beans were still magical, and yet again, I forgot to ask for the recipe. And then the next night, we were having spaghetti, and it is just like I remembered. It is so good, and I am on my second plateful, and the unthinkable happens. For the first time in my life, I hear my dad complaining to my mom about her cooking. He says, Wilma, this spaghetti sauce just isn't quite right. It doesn't taste like it usually does, and I don't know what you changed, but you should change it back. And then I watch my mother grow a little irritated with my dad, and she says, John, I am feeding you the same spaghetti sauce that I have been preparing for 49 years. I have not changed the recipe. And then I remember that my mom had mentioned that my dad's taste buds were changing. And I hadn't thought this seemed like a big deal, but I realized that it is kind of a big deal. It's unusual for my parents to bicker. And I'm concerned, but I don't know what to do. So I have a third plate of spaghetti, but I do remember this. And when I get home, I'm checking in with my mom. I'm like, Mom, maybe Dad could talk to a doctor about his taste bud problem? And Mom's like, well, maybe, but that problem's taken care of. And then she never mentioned it again. And I was quite curious as to how this problem had gotten solved. And the next time I went home to visit, I found out. My mom approached my dad's taste bud problem just like she did cooking. Using these simple ingredients that she had on hand, and some creativity and flexibility, a generous portion of love, and in this case, some grace and patience toward my dad for kvetching about her food, she solved his taste bud problem. She stopped making many of the dishes that she'd been preparing for 50 years, and using the same ingredients, she prepared different menu items and served them to my father. And because he had not been eating them for 50 years, he had nothing to compare them to, and he loved them. Problem solved, and once again, my dad was raving about how good my mom's cooking was. I got my mom's cooking skills, and I really like to hope that I got her grace and patience to help other people solve their problems, and her problem-solving skill. And maybe someday I'll even be able to figure out that bean recipe.